Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith. I'm joined by my partner, Isaac Bruce. It's been a week of baseball, Isaac.
Sure has
It's
been.
it's really been a fun one. And there's there's one there's someone missing. That someone is indeed George Kirby. George Kirby is, you know, people have their ups and downs on how good George Kirby was last year, how his improvements going, stuff like that. But he is like one of the five in our rotation regardless. He is a key part of something that makes this rotation so successful. And having him gone just seems to be taking a big toll on the pitching side. The the fastballs have a lot of tail on them. The curvature he gets towards the right hand side from his fastballs gives him the ability to start it off the plate and then bring it back away from lefties. And it's a good strikeout pitch. His stuff last year wasn't as good as what we thought it could be, but he still had the stuff to live in the strike zone. The best strike thrower in the Mariners rotation right now. Just seems like not having him just puts a big hole in our rotation because our sixth and seventh isn't nearly as good as our top five.
Julian, I absolutely agree. We saw just how not excellent our sixth and our seventh are, to put it kindly. Emerson Hancock currently rocking an 81 ERA. Not what you love to see out of your number six guy in the rotation, but that's to be expected, right? This Emerson Hancock is not ready. This is not a position he should be put in. But unfortunately, it's just the reality of injuries.
Hmm.
People are thrust into positions they're not prepared for. Last season, in Emerson Hancock's handful of starts, about 60 innings uh, due to injuries, he had an expected ERA of 5.94 and an actual ERA of 4.75. It just not good. His fastball, not blowing anything by anyone. Um, wasn't getting very much whiff. Struggled to strike people out, and you know he just generally struggled last season, and we've seen that continue into this season. Yesterday, we had the start of Luis F. Castillo, who is the pebble to Luis Castillo's The Rock. Just did not look great out there yesterday. But on the other hand, something that has looked great, consequently, in the two starts of our non true starting five pitchers, when Hancock started and when Luis F. Castillo started, we've had something odd, something peculiar, something we're unfamiliar with. It's called run support. And we seem to be scoring the run support in games where we're going to lose anyway because of our pitching. So it's been really neat, the fun timing of the Mariners. Um, Julian, what are your thoughts on just kind of how you've seen the offense maybe shine a little bit in certain spots this season?
I'm going to take 1 second before that to address something that I saw in terms of the two pitchers that started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those two were good at putting it in the zone. A lot of the
Absolutely.
counts were 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little bit of stuff that went wrong with the umpire in the Luis F. Castillo game.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it seemed to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they couldn't get the strikeouts because
Yes.
every time they put it in the zone, foul, 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 double, home run.
Yes.
So it's just the stuff to live in the zone. And I know the Mariners like to like teach the fastball and the strike zone pitching,
Mm-hmm.
but there has to be something more so that you get the swing and miss, kind of like what Andres Munoz does, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to the offensive side of things, perfect. Like
Yep.
you know what? That was good. Other than the second game against the Tigers, where Victor Robles' single in the first was the only hit, um, it seemed pretty good. And look, the first pitcher we faced against the Tigers, he's a rookie. He's just figuring out the waters, right? But
Mhm.
at the same time, getting 6 runs, pretty good. And
Yeah.
then you go over to the Skubal game, and I didn't expect them to get any runs against Skubal.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit against the bullpen once Skubal gets out, but especially not against Skubal, right?
Yeah.
And they got 3 runs.
Yep.
3 runs is all we need, right? Against a pitcher like that. Obviously, we would want more, but 3 runs is pretty good. And then
Yep.
we get to the Luis F. Castillo game, 8 runs in 9 innings. And then we should have scored more in the 10th and like 11th.
Yep.
The only run we scored in the extra innings was from a ball thrown away and then runner
Yep.
coming back.
Yep.
It should have been a little bit better, but you know what? It is what it is. And we scored that many runs, which means we can do it. Julio had a great game in the game against the Giants.
Yep.
Sure, that park is a like batter's island type of park. Like that, contrary to T-Mobile Park's pitching like sanctuary, basically, it is
Yes.
San Francisco's park is absolutely the most batter friendly park, like one of, if not the most batter friendly parks out there. So the offense I'm pretty happy with. I like the way that Jorge Polanco's hitting. I don't think he's going to keep it up to that degree. Obviously, he's almost hitting 500 right now.
Yes.
So that's not sustainable, but
Absolutely.
I see how his I see how his swing's gotten a little faster since the injury last year.
Yep.
And then I see how he's seeing the ball. He fouls off the mistake pitch, and then he'll like just rip it on the next mistake pitch. It's very, very, he makes it look easy. That's the right word for it.
Yep.
He just makes it look easy.
Yep.
Julio, just off the bat, the speed is very good. It might be necessary for him to tone it down a little bit, but I think part of his success yesterday comes from the bat speed that allowed him to get to the fastball, especially against a 96 mile per hour fastball in the first inning, taking the first pitch out of the yard opposite way. It's pretty good stuff.
Yep.
Randy Arozarena, a little bit could honestly, with the way that Randy's hitting the ball, the way he's squaring it up, his batting average should be better.
Yeah.
It's
No.
just the defense has been good. Like the A's game, bases loaded in the first inning. Randy Arozarena comes up, no outs. It turns into a double play because the second base defender just catches the ball all the way up here. It was a remarkable defensive play. Randy's just that good.
Randy, by every metric in the book, should be hitting way better. His expected batting average is 272. And it's also funny this season, Randy Arozarena does not have a single yet this season. We say almost a week and a half into the season. He has 2 doubles and 2 home runs, and he's hitting the ball hard. Just how hard, he's in the 89th percentile according to Baseball Savant in hard hit rate. And he's really done a good job squaring up the baseball. And he has just been unlucky around every turn, realistically. Both with playing in Seattle, he's had a couple balls that he's absolutely crushed to the warning track in Seattle. And he's done all you can do as a hitter. He just is not getting that little bit of luck that you need as a hitter. And it's unfortunate, but it's by no reason a sign for panic. Cal Raleigh has struggled by most metrics. That's not something I'm super concerned about. It's Cal Raleigh. I think we'll see an uptick. I think he's done a great job putting good at bats together. Right. We saw yesterday. I think that was a what?
13 pitch at bat.
13 pitch walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he's done a really good job putting those together. He's clearly seeing the ball. He just needs to get, he just needs to barrel one up a little bit, and I'm sure we'll see once one comes, it'll be a windfall of home runs for him, I think. So yeah.
One thing about that Cal Raleigh at bat, he man, this is another thing. Like we were talking about Randy Arozarena getting unlucky, but Cal
Mm-hmm.
Raleigh's 12 pitch should have been a home run, but it was just it was so far out of the yard. It was ridiculous, but just a little bit foul.
Yep.
So like the at bats that he's had, really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Cal Raleigh should be the third hole hitter. I think he's more suited to be the fourth, fifth hole behind a
Yep.
Rosarena and Polanco with the way
I
that
agree.
they're hitting right now.
I agree.
But the way that Cal Raleigh is eating up pitch counts, and we saw this last week too. Cal Raleigh took a 10 pitch at bat, struggled against the fastball, I think, just outside of the zone. He swung and missed, but that was also 10 pitch at bat. The I think with the way that the Mariners are swinging at a lot of things right now, the way that Cal Raleigh's been able to string together a long at bat really helps out knocking out the pitcher. So I'm really happy with the way that Cal Raleigh's hitting. The stats might not say so, but in my book, Cal Raleigh he's doing his job. He's doing a good job.
Absolutely. Cal Raleigh defensively this season, been solid. And his ability to frame really keeps us in games. Unfortunately, his framing was not good enough last night to convince Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, to get a couple calls right. So, it was really unfortunate. The Giants runner that was on third, I can't recall who it was. He should not have been on third. He should have been on second because the guy struck out the pitch before he was able to move him over.
Yeah.
And then the winning run should not have been on base because he struck out on a 3-2 pitch. But Sean Barber didn't see it that way. Bad calls part of baseball, but it's unfortunate to see. Right, Mariners don't deserve to lose that game, but
Absolutely not. That
we lost, so it is what it is. Move on.
yeah.
When we miss the playoffs by one game again, I can cry about that umpiring.
Look,
So
like
it's unfortunate.
I like obviously the numbers are the numbers and a loss is a loss, right?
Yes.
But I'm not taking this as a loss. Like I'm taking this as optimism.
Absolutely.
We can do it, right? Like
Yeah.
replace Luis F. Castillo and Emerson Hancock with George Kirby. 5-3 right now. Like this is a team that has shown now. Obviously, the first few days it didn't show against the Athletics, but right now it's showing as a team that, you know what? There are some bad days. Obviously, the game where the only hit was Victor Robles's like single in the first wasn't very good, but it's showing that with the pitching staff that we have, it's a team that can go out there and win it. And that's what we wanted to see. We're not looking at divisional rivals right now in the first few like weeks. We're looking at, can this team get the job done? And if so, how does this team get the job done? And
Absolutely.
team culture seems really good right now with Victor Robles, Randy Arozarena, and Julio Rodriguez. Just overall, I like the stuff that we're seeing, even though we have a losing record right now.
I agree, Julian. Offense has been good. Pitching, for the most part, has looked pretty strong. Luis Castillo's been a little bit shaky, but I'm sure that he'll figure out. He's a veteran. He's capable. He'll get that figured out. Defense has been a question, however, particularly at third base. Julian, you've raised the issue of Jorge Polanco's defensive play. Do you just want to dive into that a little bit?
So first of all, Jorge Polanco just doesn't seem comfortable. And you know what? That comes with everybody that's playing a new position. But the way that I just don't see him as somebody that has the arm to play third base. The comfortableness we can fix, right? Like where you are on the field when the ball is hit, like reading the ball that's hit and catching it, that's not that big of an issue. new third baseman always probably have that struggle. It's a hard thing to do, hard switch. But his arm takes double hops to get to first base most of the time. Um, if he is running towards the third base line, he has absolutely no chance to get to first.
Correct.
Might as well not throw the ball at that point.
Yes.
And you know, he's a great hitter, which makes up for it. But what if his hitting wasn't there? If his hitting is not there, he's toast. Like
Yeah.
he's not good enough at third base to keep on playing. We would have to put him on the bench basically. And so I I think personally I want to see them try Dylan Moore at third and then Jorge Polanco back at second. Not because Jorge Polanco's any good at second base, just because we want him to play the field to stay warm when they're not batting, and then also the arm at second is significantly more reliable than the arm at third, especially because he just doesn't have the
Absolutely.
power to power it, like throw a strike to first base.
I mean, absolutely. The arm the arm is certainly less of a factor at second base. It's not necessarily that his arm is better at second base. It just you just don't need as much of an arm at second base.
Yeah.
And against lefties, I agree. I'd like to see Dylan Moore at third against lefties, but against righties, he's gonna need to figure it out at third base. I don't know if he needs to like eat more Wheaties and do more push-ups, but he needs to figure something out at third base because against lefties or against righties, sorry, we don't really have anyone to play third base. So
Yeah.
Dylan Moore against righties has not been reliable over his career, unless he's really hot, and he's not really hot right now. So I think that it's either Polanco or if his defense is just so atrocious, I guess you could start to have the conversation of whether or not Miles Mastrobuoni should be at third. But I don't think we're there yet.
No.
But
I think like I like the idea of like, you know, the platoon at third. How are we going to work it out with like different pitchers and stuff like that? I just personally don't think that that's the problem. Like, um, I just at this point of the season, not having like, the Josh Rojas type that can go and play defense, like just
mhm.
defensive, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I think at this point we're looking at a team where as great as this pitching staff is, as great as the batting staff is, we're kind of forced to put a good enough defender in Dylan Moore at third, regardless of if his bat is any good.
I see. I think you have to have Dylan Moore out of the lineup against righties. I think that you may as well send me up there against the right-handed pitching. It's we are already a lineup that struggles to hit right-handed pitching,
Yeah.
and so we really can't make the sacrifice to put Dylan Moore at third defensively. In my opinion, I
Yeah.
just don't think that's something we can afford to do. I think it's just you just got to send them out there, and they're going to need to get used to it.
Mm.
We're also talking about this 8 games into the season. Like
Yeah.
Jorge Polanco is a professional athlete. He will figure out how to play defense at third base. It might take him some time, but I'm on the let's give him his time, train.
Okay.
I do understand where you're coming from, and your 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 side also does make a lot of sense. But I just think we just need to give Polanco some time.
I So on the optimistic note, Jorge Polanco's this one's on the batting side, but Jorge Polanco's swing speed, his ability to like transfer weight, everything seems pretty good. I think if he can
Certainly better.
learn how to throw the ball with kind of the same like way of doing it, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like a golf swing where like if you can transition your weight from your back foot to the front foot,
Yep.
you can just hit the ball, get it pretty good. I
Yep.
think as long as Jorge Polanco can learn, I guess I don't know if it's the mechanics, but that's what I think it is. Like the
I mean,
way to throw it. Like,
He can certainly be more efficient with his throw, no doubt.
yeah,
It's probably not something that he's put a great deal of time into,
yeah,
right? The throw is kind of something that just comes naturally to a lot of people, and after after you're used to that natural motion, you don't put any thought into it at all. So maybe it's something he needs to retool.
yeah.
Maybe it's something that he just needs to just work on making that throw over and over and over. Maybe it's a reps thing.
Yeah.
But I have no doubt that the Mariners coaching staff and Jorge Polanco are going to figure it out at third base, at least
And
to a degree. He's not going to play Gold Glove third base. He's
no,
going to play below average third base. But I'm
but
okay
below
with that
average,
as long as it's okay enough.
below
As long as he's
average,
not losing us games.
yeah. Like below average third base, maybe at the level of, let's say, the Red Sox, Rafael Devers. Like that would be great. If
he
he
was.
can, if he can play around below average defense to that degree, I'll be so happy.
I think his defense is better than Rafael Devers, but okay.
Well, it's
For
Rafi at least has an arm.
Rafi does have an arm,
Like,
sort of.
do I expect Jorge Polanco to come out and throw a laser beam strike the way that Ichiro did from right field? No, absolutely not. Do I expect him to get routine outs? Yes. That's the point where if you're not getting routine outs, that's where I have an issue. It's not making the crazy Nolan Arenado plays. It's if if he can't make routine ground outs, then it's a massive, massive issue.
Yeah, yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's charging the ball at third base and being able to make that throw across your body is just different. There's only a couple of players that are able to do it, and to expect someone that's played second base essentially their entire career to just come in and somehow be able to make that throw across their body while coming in. His Statcast about outs above average, negative, obviously, but it's only negative coming in.
Yeah.
Right. His issue is not even laterally. Laterally, he's doing okay. It's him having to charge the ball and make the throw across his body. It's just a tough play to make, and as long as he's not throwing balls into the dugout,
I guess
it's something he'll work on, it's something he'll improve on. I trust that he will make the plays he needs to make. But yeah.
But I mean, overall this week, I've seen a lot more good than bad. And
I agree.
In this episode, we've been talking about a lot of bad, but I think that's like, in my mind, it seems like a counter to me being so optimistic about all this. How can this team that's playing good enough right now, seems like, offensively, how can it improve is kind of what I'm getting at. And so, like, I feel like, honestly, pretty good. I'm very happy with the way that the offense is playing right now. Obviously, there are some holes defensively. Right now, George Kirby's gone, so pitching wise as well, we might have burnt out our whole bullpen for the rest of the San Francisco Giants series. Hopefully not, but they did too. So equal trade. And I think today, where Robbie Ray, former
Robbie
Mariner.
Ray Day.
Yeah, Robbie Ray. I think
I expect 15 runs in the first inning. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's not that bad.
What are your thoughts on Robbie Ray?
I think Robbie Ray is whenever I think of Robbie Ray, I obviously think of our truly brilliant decision to bring him in the playoffs to face Yordan Alvarez, in which his pitching strategy was to throw two fastballs right down the middle and hope Yordan misses them.
Yeah.
Obviously, the second he did not. And so I guess that's left a sour taste in my mouth. Whether or not he's truly a good pitcher or a bad pitcher, I think he's overrated. I think he's overpaid.
Mm,
Um, but you know, he's a serviceable MLB pitcher.
yeah.
I would not describe him as elite, but he's not that bad. I don't like him. I would like to see him fail, but it is what it is.
Eh.
That's
I
kind of
mean,
my
he's a
two
San
cents on the
Francisco
matter.
Giants, so
That is true.
he needs to fail in order for this Mariners lineup to go beat
That
him up. That's
that
for
is true. That is
yeah.
true.
And keep in mind, this podcast is probably going to be out after the Robbie Ray start. So
It will be out after Robbie Ray start. It will also
Yeah.
be out after Houston and Auburn win their Final Four games. Both electric games, by the way. I'm predicting the future, so they're both going to win. And yeah, that's all we got for this week. Thank you for watching episode 3 of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. I'm Isaac Bruce.
my name is Julian Smith.
Have a
Thank
great
you everyone
weekend,
for
everybody.
watching. Have a great weekend.